Good morning, students. Welcome back to microprocessor and microcontroller online class. In this video, I am going to discuss how a particular size of memory device can be interfaced with the 8086 microprocessor or 8085 microprocessor. In the last video class, I have discussed about the memory organization of 8086 microprocessor or 8085 microprocessor. The basic things which are involved in the memory we have discussed in the last class. In today's class, I am going to explain the memory interfacing with 8086 microprocessor or 8085 microprocessor. Memory is a physical device which can be used to store the information. In general, memory is nothing but it is a physical device or storage device which is used to store some quantities, which is used to store some values. That is called it is a memory. How that memory can be interfaced with the 8086 microprocessor? As we know that 8086 microprocessor is having 20-bit address lines, so that it can have the 2 power of 20 memory locations, that is 10,48,576 memory locations it can have. With the 20 address lines, we can have the locations in the memory, that is 10,48,576 address locations we can have. Each address location is capable of storing the 16-bit of data. We have discussed all these things in the features of 8086 microprocessor. Now we are going to discuss about how that memory of 1 megabyte maximum size that can be accessed by the 8086 microprocessor is about 1 megabyte. How this 1 megabyte of memory? So 8086 microprocessor can have the maximum of 1 megabyte of memory. It can access a maximum of 1 megabyte of memory. That memory is nothing but it is a semiconductor memory. In the semiconductor memory, we can have the two types of memories. One is RAM, another one is ROM. RAM stands for random access memory, ROM stands for read-only memory. This read-only memory is used to store the program, whereas random access memory is used to store the data. These are the basic information which is required for the memory interfacing of 8086 microprocessor. Then it can access the 1 megabyte of memory, 1 megabyte of memory with the 20-bit address lines. That is, it can have 10,48,576 memory locations. And that 1 megabyte of memory can be PROM and RAM. Simply PROM is also named as ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory, which is used to store the program, and whereas RAM is nothing but which is used to store the data. And in case of memory interfacing, it is required to memory interfacing The memory interfacing requires to select the chip, identify the register or memory location, and enable the appropriate buffer. This is very important point, because whenever we interface 8086 microprocessor with the memory, so that memory chip has to be selected by the processor for accessing it. After selecting that chip, the microprocessor has to send one particular address, that is 20-bit address. It has to send one location with respect to the address. It has to send an address such that it is going to find one location, and from that location it is going to have the data or program. Program is nothing but it is set of instructions, we can call the program. And based on the enabling of the proper buffer, buffer is nothing but the pins only, pins of the memory device, and based on the enabling of the proper buffer, we are going to access that data or program. If the microprocessor is send the address to the ROM, then from that processor can read the program. Program is nothing but it is set of instructions, and a group of programs are named as software. We know this one. If the 8086 microprocessor selects the ROM such that the processor is going to read the instructions, that is program. If the processor sends an address of the RAM, and from that location either we can write the data or we can read the data. So that the main important thing in the interfacing of 8086 microprocessor with the memory, after interfacing the 8086 microprocessor with the memory, this is going to select a chip. It is going to select a chip. That means what? The memory device is going to be enabled. Selecting a chip is nothing but, here chip is nothing but it is a memory, and it is going to be enabled by the 8086 microprocessor. After enabling the one particular memory, the 8086 microprocessor using the address bus, it is going to send the 20-bit address. From that 20-bit address, the processor can either read and write the data, or it can access the instructions in the form of programs. This is the main introduction about the memory interfacing. Then in memory interfacing, we have to go with the address decoding. For example, we are having the two address lines, that means A0 and A1. So that if having the two address lines, we can have the four address locations, that is 00, 01, 10 and 11. That means what? We have around 10,48,576 memory locations. That means what? Each location is having one specific address. Starting address is about 00000, 5 zeros to 5 Fs. With that 1 megabyte of memory, address locations can be defined. Here we are going through the address decoding, because if we have the decoder only, we can have the 2 power n number of output lines. For the n input signals, we can have the 2 power n output lines. That 10,48,576, nothing but these are the address locations, which is nothing but these are the output lines from a decoder. So that one particular location in this 10,48,576 locations, One location will be selected based on a address which sent by the processor, and from that location data or instructions can be fetched. This is a need for the address decoding. To select a one particular address in the 10,48,576 memory locations, we must go through the address decoding. Here you should remember that one point is that here we have the maximum accessible memory for the 8086 microprocessor is about 1 megabyte. That doesn't mean that every time the microprocessor is going to make use that total 1 megabyte of memory. Based on the application, some part of this memory is going to be used. It is clear that as the 8086 microprocessor can be interfaced with 1 megabyte of memory, it doesn't mean that it can access the total 1 megabyte of memory every time. Based on a given application, based on the devices which are interfaced with the microprocessor, it is going to make use some part of those memory. This is very, very important thing. And we can have here RAM and ROM, and this RAM and RAM, again we can have some classes of RAM and RAM. ROM we can have some various classes, and RAM also we can have the various classes. RAM is we can have the PRAM, programmable read-only memory, and this is EPRAM, that is erasable programmable read-only memory. EEPRAM we can have electrically erasable programmable memory. Likewise, we can have some classes in the ERAM, PROM. And whereas the RAM, which is used to store the data, we know that there are two types of RAM, that is static RAM and the dynamic RAM. Anyway, our topic is not to go for the classifications of RAM or ROM. We are going to discuss how this 8086 microprocessor can be interfaced with the 1 megabyte of memory. So maximum of it can access with the 1 megabyte of memory, but it doesn't mean that every time for every application it is going to make use 1 megabyte of memory. Based on a given application, some memory, some amount of space can be used, some amount of space can be used from the memory of 1 megabyte. Need for address decoding, as we know, a microprocessor can communicate with only one device at a time, because we know that 8086 microprocessor or 8085 microprocessor can communicate with only one device once. At a time it can communicate with only single device, because whatever the bus system it is having, address bus, data bus and the status bus, every time all these serves only single function. So that the microprocessor can communicate with only one device at a time. Since data, address and control buses are common for all the devices which are interfaced with microprocessor. That means what these buses are, all these three buses, data bus, address bus and the control buses are going to connect to one particular unit only. It is going to interface with one particular unit, so that it can't serve the another system. At a time, the microprocessor only, it is going to communicate with only one device, and that means the communication of microprocessor become critical when more than one memory devices are interfaced. For example, I am going with the example. It is very difficult whenever the microprocessor is interfaced with the two memory device. This is first memory device, this is second memory device. Because whatever the bus system, that is system bus of the 8086 microprocessor can communicate with only one device at a time. It is going to communicate with either first memory device or second memory device, because bus remains same only. If it serves or if it communicates with the 64 kilobytes of first device, and if any request is there, again after completion of this one, it is going to look into this one. That means what? Based on the address, the 8086 microprocessor can interface the devices, memory devices. That means the communication of microprocessor become critical when more than one devices are interfaced. In such cases, only one memory device should be used at a time, depending upon the address range. Depending upon the address which is sent by the 8086 microprocessor, any one of these two memory devices can be selected. So likewise, you can go with the selection of the memory devices if more than one memory devices are communicating with the 8086 microprocessor. Then this address decoding can be achieved by the two ways. First one is named as, by using the logic gates we can achieve the address decoding. By using the logic gates, we have the logic gates, that is AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate. These three are primary gates, and the universal gates are NAND gate, NOR gate. These are the universal gates, and exclusive gates are exclusive OR and exclusive NOT. By using those gates, we can achieve the address decoding. First one. This is very simple one only. And again we can achieve the address decoding by making use of one more integrated circuit, that is named as 74LS138 decoder. And it is basically a decoder. When we give the n number of inputs for this decoder, output lines will be 2 power of n lines. How these logic gates are using in getting the address decoding, and how this 74LS138 decoder has been using for the address decoding, we are going to discuss now. And in this address decoding by 74LS138 decoder is very important. Then I am going to explain about the address decoding by making use of the logic gates. This method is used only if one memory device is connected to the processor. Limitation of this one is what? By making use of basic logic gates, we have been achieving this address decoding, and this can be applicable when 8086 microprocessor is interfaced with the single memory device. Whereas the address decoding can be achieved by 74LS138 decoder when the processor is interfaced with the more than one memory devices. You have to remember this point. Whenever the processor is interfaced with single memory device, then the address decoding can be achieved by the basic logic gates. Whenever the 8086 microprocessor is interfaced with more than one memory device, then that address decoding can be achieved by the integrated circuit, that is called 74LS138 decoder. Then we are going to talk about the first one, how the address decoding can be achieved by making use of the basic gates. By making use of one particular example, I am going to explain the same. Consider a RAM of 64 kilobyte. Example I am going with. Consider a RAM of 64 kilobyte. RAM is used for storing the data only. Just now I have explained. RAM is used to store the data, whereas RAM is used to store the program or instructions. Here I am going with the example. Consider a RAM of 64 kilobyte is to be connected with 8-bit processor. We are going with the not 16-bit processor. Now it is 8-bit. It is 64 kilobyte of RAM with the 8-bit processor. 8-bit processor. It is a 8-bit processor and it has the address lines. This is 8-bit processor is nothing but 8-bit data lines, and it is having the address of 20-bit address lines as similar to the 8086 microprocessor. 8086 microprocessor is having the 20-bit address. Due to this 20-bit address only, we are going with the maximum memory of 1 megabyte. So that consider a RAM of 64 kilobyte to be connected to 8-bit microprocessor which has 20 address lines. The number of address lines required, to access 64 kilobyte of memory. That means what? Here 20-bit address is there. Due to this 20-bit address, we can have how many memory locations we can have? That is 10 lakhs. We can have 10,48,576 memory location. Each memory location is capable of having the 16-bit of data. But here 2 power of 20, and this is about 1 megabyte of memory, total of 1 megabyte of memory. But we don't require this total 1 megabyte. We require to have 64 kilobyte only, 64 kilobyte. If it is 1 megabyte, we require to go with the 20-bit address line. But if it is 64 kilobyte, we no need to have that 20 address lines we can make use. From the 20 lines, we can make use some number of lines only. That number we have to determine that. The number of address lines for any memory, is given by log n is equals to log base 2 into memory size. Log of memory size. And then we can have n is equals to log base 2. Memory size is what? 64 kilobyte, and 64 into kilobyte is nothing but 1024. And 1024 we can write it is 2 power of 10, and 64 is nothing but it is 2 power of 6. And 2 power of 6 into 2 power of 10, that will be n is equals to log this is 2 power of 16 and base 2. This will be cancelled, so that n is equals to 16. That means what? To access 64 kilobyte of memory, to access the 64 kilobyte of memory, we require to have only 16 address lines. We don't need total 20 address lines. If we have the 20 address lines, we can access up to 1 megabyte of memory, but we require to access the 64 kilobyte only, and number of address lines required for that 64 kilobyte is given by n is equals to log memory size of base 2. And we have converted that is 64 kilobyte. 64 into kilobyte is nothing but 1024, and this is about 64 means 2 power of 6, 1024 means it is 2 power of 10. Totally n is equals to 16 we got. That means that 16 address lines are required to access 64 kilobyte of memory. But the mentioned processor has 20 address lines, that is, it is mentioned processor is having the address lines from A0 to A19. Here we require the address lines from A0 to A15 only. A0 to A15 is how many? How much? These are 16, but here this is having a total 19. We are not going to make use for this accessing of 64 kilobyte. We are additionally having, that is, A16, A17 and A18 and A19. So here there is a problem. Thus the lower order address lines, that is A0 to A15, total 16, are directly connected to the memory device, while the higher order address lines are used for the address decoding. That means what? These A0 to A15 directly connected with the memory, and whereas A16, A7, A18 and A19, and these are the additional address lines and can be decoded by the logic gates. How these will be decoded? I am going with one example. Let memory device to be interfaced with the 8086 microprocessor is having the starting address of 30000H, and the ending address of that one, values on the address A0 to A19 are given like this. Then you can go with I am going with this one. Starting address, we are having starting address of this memory. I am going with let memory device is to be interfaced is having the starting address as starting address that can be denoted with SA is equals to 3000H. That's for 20-bit address. The next one, then the ending address of the device and the values, that means what? And the starting address of 64 kilobyte is 30000H, and then what will be the ending address? If it is used to store the 64 kilobyte, then what will be its ending address? It is the question. So that means what? Here we are having 64 kilobyte, and 64 kilobyte can be written as 64 kilobyte in the hexadecimal number can be written as FFFH. So if the starting address is this one, ending address will be then add the 4 F's here, 4 F's FFFH, and so that it will be 3FFFH. So starting address is given, that is 3000H to have the 64 kilobyte of memory, and that 64 kilobyte of memory can be represented, 64 kilobyte can be represented with FFFH in the hexadecimal number, and so that if we add this to 30000H to FFFH, then we can get the ending address of that memory device. So that we can have the starting address is what? Starting address is this one, and the ending address is this one, and so that first you can go with the total, you can go with the total A0 to A19, A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, A8, A9, A10. Starting address is 3000H, and ending address you can call it is 3FFFH, and you can write here ending address only here, ending address, and it is starting address. Starting address is 30000H, and the ending address is 3FFFH, and so that what are the total? This is A11, A12, A13, A14, A15, A16, A17, A18 and A19. Then first A0 to A15 they are not decoding. So that F means what? 1, 1, 1, 1. First F is completed. Second F is what? 1, 1, 1, 1. Third F is what? 1, 1, 1, 1. Fourth F is what? 1, 1, 1, 1. And the last one is 3. 3 means 0, 0, 1, 1. And coming to the starting address, this is 3 means what? 0, 0, 1, 1. And zeros mean all zeros. Likewise, you can have this one. But we have to decode this one. Whatever unused address lines are there, they have to be decoded. That means what? Suppose if we use the NAND gate is used as a decoder, then all the inputs need to high, because this is acting as a chip select. These are going to select the chip, that is memory device, and so that chip select is a active low signal. Active low signal, that means what? These combinedly will provide the output that has to be 0. That has to be 0. That means what? If we have A19, A18, A17 and A16 all are 1, then the output of NAND gate will be 0. So that I am using the NAND gate for this decoding. I am using the NAND gate for the decoding. And chip select is what? It is active low signal. It has to be 0. Whenever all the inputs of NAND gate is 1, then only output will be 0. So that we require to have A19 is 1, but it is 0, so that I can make use 1 NOT gate. A18 is also 1, that means what? It is 0, I can make use 1 NOT gate. A17 is 1 only, A16 is also 1, and A19 now 1, and all the ones are connected as input for the NAND gate, so the output will be 0. That is nothing but chip select. That means what? By decoding these unused address lines, by making use of the NAND gate, it is giving the chip select signal. That means what? The memory interfacing required to select the chip. Memory interfacing has to required to select a chip such that the address lines will be specified in the address locations will be specified in the memory, such that address decoding can be possible by making use of logic gate. And another thing is nothing but the same address decoding we can achieve by making use of the decoder circuit, that is integrated circuit, that is 74LS138 decoder, and with that we can have the same address decoding when the 8086 microprocessor is interfaced with one or more memory devices. In tomorrow class I am going to explain how the address decoding can be achieved by making use of the integrated circuits 74LS138 decoder. With that, this memory interfacing of 8086 microprocessor is going to be completed. Thank you, students.